This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather and Connie Chung.
Good evening. A new study of American schools is providing stark evidence tonight of a nation divided increasingly along racial lines.
The Harvard study says U.S. schools are slipping back toward racial segregation, the highest levels of desegregation for minority students in 25 years. Now, desegregation, which basically started in the 1960s, to make it clear, this study says that we're slipping backward at a rate that we have not seen for a quarter of a century. That could be jeopardizing schools for those minorities, and as correspondent Randall Pinkston reports, at least part of the blame goes to the specific period between 1980 and 1990.
Nearly 40 years after the Supreme Court outlawed school segregation, a new study released today finds America's schools are again dividing along racial lines.
This report demonstrates that we are regressing in this country toward a uniquely Americanized form of apartheid.
Between 1980 and 1992, more black and Hispanic children found themselves in schools that were predominantly minority and poor, which could hurt them academically.
If you are in an intensely concentrated minority school, the chances are many times more that you'll be in a high-poverty school than if you're in a white school.
The study insists that America cannot afford to ignore this trend.
If quality education is supposed to best prepare us with relevant information for dealing with the real adult world, then a quality education today must include multicultural education.
What is fueling the return to racially separate public schools? The report puts a large part of the blame on housing patterns. Minorities and whites still live separately, and the schools they attend reflect that. Another reason, neglect by the federal government.
We have had 5 administrations, the Nixon administration, the Ford administration, 2 Reagan terms, and the Bush administration, that have not enforced the law of school desegregation in urban communities. They've actively opposed it.
There was a call today to reverse the trend in education of the Reagan-Bush years and change the rules to restore federal funds for school districts that try to promote desegregation. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, Washington.
They are still counting votes from yesterday's election in Russia, but Boris Yeltsin and his reformers are reeling tonight from a rebuke by the people. Russians elected a new parliament where Yeltsin's backers will be far outnumbered by his foes. The big winner was a right-wing party, led by a nationalist who wants to restore the Russian Empire and its military might. Moscow correspondent Cindy Gennard reports.
Riding a wave of voter disgust, a little-known extremist is suddenly positioned to become one of Russia's most powerful politicians. Vladimir Zhirinovsky once said he wants to purge Russia of American influence and retake Alaska. Today, his party has apparently finished first in Russia's parliamentary elections.
Birthday of a new Russian democracy, a new Russian policy, a new Russian parliament.
Zhirinovsky was known as a political clown, rushing to the aid of Saddam Hussein, dressing his followers in neo-fascist black. But with a masterful television campaign, he struck a chord with Russian voters devastated by Boris Yeltsin's economic reforms.
The extremist policies of the Yeltsin government, particularly in economic policy, the so-called shock therapy, since 1992 has caused enormous social pain, and it's produced an extremist reaction to it in the form of Zhirinovsky.
Left with an unexpectedly weak showing, the pro-Yeltsin forces vowed today to continue remaking the economy Western style.
And only on this basis we could prevent the future increase of the popularity of the extremist forces.
With official results still being tallied, it appears communists and other Yeltsin opponents have received a greater share of the vote than the president's allies. But some 40% of the electorate simply stayed away.
A kind of political barricade now runs through the heart of Russia. Only 2 years after the fall of communism, it's hard to see how any kind of progress, political or economic, is going to be possible on the basis of this kind of deep divide in Russian political life.
Yeltsin issued a statement today praising passage of his draft constitution, which gives him the power to dissolve the parliament. Already, he's moving the legislature out of the White House to a pair of nondescript office buildings miles apart. The parliament does not convene for a month, but the stage is set again for a political confrontation Russia doesn't need. Cindy Kennard, CBS News, Moscow.
President Clinton, who has a Moscow summit date with Yeltsin next month, said today he was not surprised by the strong showing of the right wing. He said it reflects how much the Russian people have suffered in recent years. Mr. Clinton said he anticipates no change in policy toward Russia and expects the supporters of democracy in Russia to carry the day.
As for politics American style, President Clinton hit the campaign trail today in Pennsylvania. He combined a political paycheck and payback with a preemptive strike on the federal budget and another pitch for his version of health care reform. White House correspondent Rita Braver explains why.
This was payback time. President Clinton came to Pennsylvania to fulfill a promise to Representative Marjorie Margolis-Mezvinsky. The freshman Democrat cast the vote that pushed his budget through the House, and voters in her wealthy district were furious at being hit hard by the budget's tax raise. So she called a conference to talk about cutting entitlements, programs like Social Security, welfare, and Medicare.
Marge Mezvinsky hadn't voted for that budget, we wouldn't be here celebrating economic progress or talking about entitlements. We'd still be back in Washington throwing mud balls at each other.
But Republicans used the president's appearance as another chance to attack her.
Well, here he is, and I hope every taxpayer watches closely because it's costing them $260 billion, the amount Margolis-Mezvinsky voted to raise taxes.
But the president insisted her politically risky vote had led to economic recovery. And using charts that Ross Perot would envy, Mr. Clinton indicated there's only one major place left to trim fat.
But on the entitlements issue, I would argue the real culprit is health care costs, and we can only address it if we have comprehensive health care reform.
The president chaired a panel of people friendly to his health care plan. Critics who think his whole approach too costly didn't get to speak till after he left. Former Senator Warren Rudman heads a deficit watchdog group.
I do not believe, nor do most health economists believe, that you can pay for those programs simply by squeezing the fat out of the current health care system.
But it's not clear if the president's visit really helped Margolis-Mezvinsky, especially after it was reported that corporations were asked to contribute thousands of dollars for a high profile at this conference. Rita Braver, CBS News, Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania.
Putting a stop to influence peddling, cutting government spending and waste, and reducing their own perks. Those were some of the promises made by the candidates in the 1992 congressional campaigns. So, did the freshman class of '93 keep those promises? CBS News correspondent Eric Ingberg investigates that question for tonight's CBS Evening News reality check.
Anyone who wanted Washington changed had high hopes for the 110 new House members. Many of these freshmen had won on Perot-style pledges to clean up the Congress.
The American people demanded change.
We came to Washington bearing their message that the time for change had come.
Time out. Despite the brave talk, this freshman class has achieved little. Take politically tough spending cuts.
They put us all into office on pledges and promises and talk about cutting spending.
But a new study finds freshman Democrats no more willing than their seniors to vote to cut spending, and freshman Republicans even less willing. Something happened on the way to reform. And Tim Penny, who's quitting in disgust after a decade in the House, says it was the leadership.
The system stinks, frankly. They really have you over a barrel. You need something from them, and the only way you can get it is for you to be kind of part of their team.
Example, freshman Luis Gutierrez was on the House subway when he was confronted by a powerful committee chairman unhappy he had led the drive for a congressional pay freeze.
And he said, "So you put that pay freeze in, didn't you, young man?" I said, "Yes, I did, sir." And he said, well, let me tell you something, Gutierrez. Don't ever introduce legislation again that sticks your hand in my pocket.
The freeze passed, but the freshmen backed away from cutting down on congressional perks like free parking at Washington's airport. And lobbying reform was put off by the House leaders.
The people at the top of our party represent dinosaurs, and they are squishing their young beneath their feet.
Okay, how about over on the other side, on the Republican side?
While doing little to shake up the Congress, the freshmen as a group have raised $4 million in contributions from special interest PACs. A chilling sign the freshmen have come to like the benefits of incumbency. Eric Engberg, CBS News, Washington.
As for who is giving all that campaign cash to Congress, it turns out a lot of it is from the healthcare and insurance industries, and it's not going just to freshman members. A new study from a Washington watchdog group says the healthcare and insurance lobbies have been donating heavily to Congress, hoping to have some influence over next year's debate on healthcare reform. The grand total so far this year, and still counting, is $5.5 million.
Straight ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, a new and controversial effort by one U.S. police department to cut down on gangs and crime.
And later, Eye on America. Tonight, car accidents waiting to happen. Only these are no accident.
Every time you have an awful cold, do you try a new cold remedy? Still looking for one that's right for you? Well, the search is over, because finally there's a cold medicine good enough to be called Robitussin. Introducing Robitussin Liquid Gels, powerful non-drowsy relief for your stuffy nose, chest congestion, and of course, cough. If you want sympathy, keep searching.
Feeling better?
If you want powerful relief, good. Take new Robitussin Liquid Gels. Finally, Robitussin relief for your cold. How fast does Anbesol start to relieve toothache pain? Before you can say
Anbesol.
denture pain? Before you can say
Anbesol.
relieve minor mouth pain on contact with Anbesol in regular or maximum strength.
For a touch of arthritis pain, my husband takes Advil. Doctors recommend Advil most for minor arthritis pain, and it's gentler on his stomach than aspirin. He says Advil lets him get back to doing what he loves. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
A judge in Michigan ruled today that people have the right in some cases to commit suicide. And he said the state's outright ban on helping is unconstitutional. But even the judge couldn't say how the ruling will affect Dr. Jack Kevorkian, who's awaiting trial for violating the Michigan law. After a brief stay in the hospital, Kevorkian was returned tonight to prison, where he has refused solid food for 2 weeks. The U.S. Supreme Court set new limits today in the government's war on drugs. The High Court said the government has no right to seize homes and other property of drug traffickers without a hearing. It's the second time this year the Supreme Court has restricted the government's authority to take property linked to drug criminals.
Well, some say the police in Denver are going too far with their latest strategy in the war against crime. They've come up with a kind of dishonor roll of gang members. Correspondent Vicki Mabry has more about it.
Who was the one with the gun?
A bloody weekend on the streets of metropolitan Denver. A 13-year-old killed, another injured. 6 shootings in all, most police believe are gang-related.
You're a Crip associate, but not an active member now?
Since 1986, Denver police have been battling gang warfare. One of their weapons is a gang list, more than 6,000 names of acknowledged and potential members.
By knowing who's involved in this behavior, who is driving what car, it's a tool that will help us solve the crimes that we are charged with investigating.
I think it's a lie.
17-year-old Jay Moore says he's not a member of a gang. His younger brother is. But Jay says he's been stopped and questioned by police several times.
I think they're pulling me over because I'm a young black male.
Critics charge that the roster is racially discriminatory. A third of the list is Latinos, who make up 12% of Denver's population. And though blacks make up only 5% of the population, they account for more than half the names on the list.
I don't think 2 out of every 3 young black men are in gangs.
They already labeled you as the bad guys, so if you treat a kid like that, he's going to act like that.
Showing off some of the firepower they're up against, police say they're outgunned. Backed by Denver's black mayor, they deny there's any racial motivation.
We have citizens on one side demanding action, and then we have critics on the other side that say that we're doing too much, so it's hard to get to the middle ground.
In January, the Colorado legislature will consider several measures aimed at cutting gang violence, ranging from punishment to prevention. Vicki Mabry, CBS News, Denver.
An attorney for Michael Jackson confirmed today that the pop star is back in the country, somewhere in Southern California. The lawyer said Jackson returned from overseas to, quote, establish his innocence. Jackson is the target of a civil lawsuit and a criminal investigation for allegedly molesting a 13-year-old boy.
Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, a deep division and delayed hopes for peace in the Middle East.
2 a.m., 36 Pine Street. Apartment 4C has a backache and can't sleep. 3C overdid her afternoon workout and is paying the price. 2C had an aching back, but fortunately she also has Tylenol PM gel caps with extra strength Tylenol pain reliever, plus a gentle ingredient to help her sleep. And a good night's sleep was all she needed to make her day a whole lot brighter. Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
A week on the coast, and all she remembers is the hotel swimming pool.
I sometimes think my Taurus is safer than my living room.
I fill the entire back with groceries, and they still say there's nothing to eat.
For so many people, for so many reasons, Ford Taurus, the best-selling car in America.
Here's a whole other kind of chip.
Chip Shot.
Presto Chip Shot Potato Chipper. Slices so thin they gotta be crisp. Regular or ripple.
Chip Shot.
Fry them up. Even microwave for a light, no-fat chip. Flavor them the way you like.
Chip Shot.
From Presto.
Norelco says don't shave your legs, baby them. With Norelco's incredibly close, comfortable shave that leaves you baby smooth, baby soft. Norelco Lady Shave Razors, dry or wet, we make close comfortable.
We'll be live from Westminster Abbey with Mark McEwen.
Plus, Wayne's World 2 stars Dana Carvey and Mike Myers.
Tomorrow on CBS This Morning, breakfast for your head.
Japan bowed some to U.S. pressure today and said it will drop part of its ban on rice imports. The Japanese agreed to buy about 4% of their rice from the U.S. and other foreign producers. This move came as negotiators in Geneva worked against a Wednesday deadline for a new global trade agreement.
Israel and the PLO missed their deadline today to start carrying out their historic peace agreement. They set a new deadline for just before Christmas. But as correspondent Bob Simon reports, peace in the Holy Land seems as far away as ever.
The day that was meant to carry the sign of the dove brought death and destruction instead. Dawn in Gaza saw a suicide bomber trying to ram an Israeli jeep with an ambulance rigged with explosives. He succeeded in wounding a soldier only slightly and in committing suicide. In the Jabalia refugee camp, birthplace of the Intifada, people who thought they were getting a new deal got more of those old tires and stones and bullets.
In Gaza, the day which was scheduled to usher in the new era came and went without the hint of a hope. In Gaza today, history was put on hold.
Only a 10-day delay, said Rabin and Arafat yesterday, but today's talk pointed towards a very deep divide.
Definitely there is serious problems. Otherwise, why to delay the 10 days?
The problem is that the Palestinians are looking for symbols of statehood, while the Israelis want guarantees of security. That's why the PLO demands control of the borders with Jordan and Egypt. That's why the Israelis say, no way.
Because any crossing of these two lines by anyone means that they can reach Tel Aviv.
Jericho had scheduled an Independence Day parade today and settled for a strike instead. Even the PLO office closed down due to circumstances beyond its control. Only Israeli settlers found reason to cheer the delay. They felt they'd been given a reprieve.
It is a ray of hope.
But there was nothing new under the sun in Gaza, where night fell over a girl saying goodbye to her brother, shot by Israeli soldiers. The kind of scene which has been replayed endlessly over the last 6 years. Just try to convince people here tonight that it's only a 10-day delay. Bob Simon, CBS News, Gaza.
U.S. forces are stepping up their withdrawal from Somalia. The aircraft carrier USS America sailed off today with 5,000 U.S. troops, while on the ground, rival clans prepared for a new round of war. Peace talks collapsed over the weekend in neighboring Ethiopia, but warlord Mohammed Adid is still there. The United States was criticized last week for flying Adid to the talks in a military aircraft. Now the U.S. is refusing to fly him back. In this country, Space Shuttle Endeavour flew home today. The astronauts landed at home port in Florida a little after midnight. They spent 11 days and $600 million extra on the mission to repair the flawed Hubble Space Telescope. Whether the telescope works won't be known for another 6 weeks or so.
Stay with us for much more CBS Evening News, including Eye on America. Tonight, a look at why some car accidents are not accidents at all.
Every second of an asthma attack can feel like an eternity. That's why there's Primatene Mist. Primatene opens clogged breathing tubes, restores free breathing fast when speed counts, so you're breathing easy in practically no time. Primatene Mist, fastest type asthma relief without a prescription. And for hours of relief, Primatene tablets with the asthma reliever doctors recommend.
I have no time for colds. My husband's a doctor and can give me anything, but he recommends Dimetapp Extend tabs. Dimetapp controls my sneezing and nasal congestion. It's strong medicine.
Doctors recommend Dimetapp for their families and yours.
So at Jenny's school play, I get this cough. Somebody handed me these Robitussin cough drops. They worked right away, and I could feel those vapors. Robitussin took the spotlight off me and put it where it belonged.
Robitussin cough drops from the cough experts.
I'm so weak and cold. All my powers are drained. I can't go on. What's this? Something warm. I feel the strength returning to my body. It's a miracle.
A miracle. I feel like myself again.
A hot lunch with Campbell's Bean with Bacon Soup is a good source of protein and iron.
Now I can go save the world.
Re-energize your kids with Campbell's.
Campbell's. Do you want to get rich?
$2 million.
Do you want to get even?
I hope it breaks the state.
See you in court. An all-new 48 Hours Wednesday.
They happen once every 5 seconds in this country. Car crashes. They're called accidents, and most are. But some are actually well-planned fraud. Fraud you pay for in the form of higher automobile insurance premiums. Correspondent Bob Faw investigates accidents waiting to happen in tonight's Eye on America.
California trucker Frank Ritter has been driving big rigs for 25 years, nearly 2 million miles without an accident, until last year, when police say a car in front slammed on its brakes and forced Ritter to hit him.
They jeopardized my life. They jeopardized everybody else's life that was out on the freeway. Had I flipped it, whoever was in that car is dead. Just dead. It's that simple.
And when North Carolina grandmother Johnny Turner drove through this intersection in Gastonia, investigators say her car was intentionally clobbered.
It makes me very angry because it could have cost me my life. And second, my insurance almost doubled.
East Coast, West Coast, drivers everywhere, as this insurance industry tape shows, are staging and causing accidents just to collect insurance.
Millions fall victim to it every year.
As investigators like George Stavropoulos know, almost any vehicle is fair game. Here's a Lexus now coming up alongside.
Well, you've got an older gentleman driving that car. Got a AAA sticker on the back bumper denoting a likelihood of insurance. If I was looking to do an accident, that's a good target.
They're everywhere.
Absolutely. And anybody's a potential target.
In North Carolina, Billy Ray Walker was a master at stalking potential targets.
There's been times I've sat through lights 3 or 4 hours waiting on somebody to make the wrong move. When they did, they paid for it.
He's now charged with masterminding scores of phony car wrecks, many of which he plotted and executed at this intersection.
See that truck there?
Yeah.
Boom,
Way over.
boom,
Way over.
boom. He's mine. Call his insurance agent because he's history.
You look upon this intersection as kind of a gold mine.
Well, it was a gold mine.
Gold mines, which scam artists like Alex, who wouldn't be photographed, have no qualms exploiting.
It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. It's very easy. So we just do it. We get the money.
Business.
Business. Straight business. Yeah.
The insurance industry now has a national computer clearinghouse to help keep tabs on auto fraud.
Works real well.
But when we asked investigator Jerry Dolan about the man behind this staged California auto accident where someone actually died.
Currently, there is no record indicating that that individual has been involved in a suspicious claim in our database.
Did you walk away with the opinion that the insurance companies are pretty much on top of this situation? Or just the opposite?
Just the opposite.
Just before Thanksgiving,
Insurance fraud and warrant for your arrest.
5 more arrests in California for rigged auto accidents. Organized, says the state's insurance commissioner, at a local McDonald's.
Perhaps as much as 25% of every premium dollar goes to pay for some sort of fraudulent claim.
But for every scheme we uncovered, one investigator concedes, there are 100 we don't know about.
Are we turning the corner? No. It continues.
Like a swarm of bees, everybody's wanting a little bit of honey.
Just ask a California trucker or a Carolina grandmother.
They set out to trap me, and they did a real good job of it. It's like swimming with sharks. Just like swimming with sharks.
Well, shame on them, because this is so wrong. This is just another way to get money and use people while they do it.
Bending fenders, pocketbooks, sometimes even people, when they do. In Gastonia, North Carolina, this is Bob Fall for Eye on America.
And that's our news. Coming up tomorrow on CBS This Morning, Dr. Jack Kevorkian's attorney, plus the latest government plans to regulate the vitamin industry.
Connie and I will, of course, see you again tomorrow here on the CBS Evening News. Thank you for choosing CBS News. Good night.
Good night.
What do people think of these Sunsweet Orange and Lemon Essence Pitted Prunes? I love lemons.
Do they smell like oranges?
I like these a lot.
Orange essence excites me.
Lemon flavored prunes?
They're wonderful.
These are really good.
What did Barbara Mandrell think?
Actually, I love them both.
Want the inside story on me, George Brent? With minor arthritis pain like mine, I need Ultra Strength Bengay. It's the only one with 3 pain relievers. And besides, doctors recommend Bengay the most. Ultra Strength Bengay, nothing stronger.
When I got Dave a new electric shaver, I didn't know if he'd like it. But I shouldn't have worried, because I selected the Wall Custom Shave System. Wall gives you a choice: sensitive, close, or super close. First, Dave tried the sensitive foil. He liked it. Then he used the close foil. Smooth. Sometimes Dave prefers the super close foil when he wants to be really close. So whether your man's tender or tough, the Wall Custom Shave System, the shaver of choice.
There you go. Coffee?
Cappuccino.
Vanilla cappuccino.
Mocha cappuccino. Make that a decaf mocha.
Only Maxwell House makes cappuccino in all these flavors.
1 cappuccino, 1 mocha decaf cappuccino. And for you, vanilla.
Maxwell House cappuccinos, the magic without the machine.
You can't breathe. You're sneezing. Your sinuses and nasal passages are blocked. Where do you go for help? Last time you went to your doctor for a prescription. This time he told you to get the same prescription-strength medicine without a prescription. Tavus D, the antihistamine decongestant that was once the most prescribed by doctors, is now the most recommended by doctors for 12 hours of relief.
Good morning.
Tavus D, 1 tablet, 12 hours, no prescription.
Experience CBS News.
Have Americans changed their attitudes about religion? Are we afraid to talk about our beliefs anymore?
We have virtually made it impossible for people to discuss these things at their dinner tables.
This man agrees. So does this man. Do they know something we don't? Eye on America takes a closer look tomorrow on the CBS Evening News. This is CBS.